can I just start with you introducing yourself?
Yes, I'm Brad Pratt, and I am a lifelong resident of Tooele. I am married to Kay, my wife, and for 48 years, and we have 3 children. We have 6 grandchildren, and we've been here in Tooele our whole lives.
Thank you so much. So I want to start. What does responsible growth look like to you?
Okay, responsible growth looks like to me that we are going to grow. Tooele City is growing rapidly. In fact, Tooele City is one of the fastest growing counties in the state. And responsible growth to me is that we make arrangements for all stages in life to be able to move here, grow here, raise a family here, work here, and thrive here in our community.
Thank you for that. When it comes to all stages of life, being able to thrive here, what is your plan to bring in more jobs and higher paying jobs for the residents here?
Okay, part of what is restricting the job situation in Tooele is we have a couple of issues that are causing us some problems. One of them is our transportation situation. We have fallen way behind in keeping up with the growth as far as our transportation infrastructure. And the second one would be our water. And in order to fix our responsible growth, we have to fix those 2 things first. And responsible growth to me looks like areas in our community where any stage of life can work here, families can live here, they can have a home here, raise their families here, and work here and stay in this valley and provide for those families.
You mentioned transportation. How will you work with UDOT and other state agencies to help tackle some of the traffic concerns here?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. UDOT, we have, when I was on the City Council, and I've served on our City Council here for 8 years, I also served on the Wasatch Front Regional Council. We had at that time a Mid-Valley Highway that was in the works to help with our transportation situation. After I left the Wasatch Front Regional Council, that Mid-Valley Highway has stalled and only the first phase was put in. We need desperately phase 2 and phase 3. In order to get that back on track, it's going to take unification between the state, our county, other communities here, and us to get that back on track. And this is not something that is something we can let go for years. It's an emergency and we need it taken care of now. That being said, we also have a transportation plan that needs to be executed, and we need to pay very close attention to that. And that's actually from a meeting that I had with UDOT a month ago on the condition of our transportation here, and that we are in an emergency state with transportation. If you've driven on SR 36 here, which you have, we have an enormous backup on SR 36, and it's because of the growth that we've had here, and it's outrun our transportation system.
When it comes to infrastructure, what is your top priority for infrastructure and how will you attack that?
Okay, my top priority for infrastructure is actually twofold. The first one, as we've talked about, is the transportation situation. We attack that by unifying with the state, with our county, with our other communities in this valley, and we attack that by letting the state realize with a unified voice the urgency that we have in getting these highways like the Mid-Valley Highway completed to help us with our transportation situation. The second one is water. Water is something that controls growth always, and it's something that everyone says that we are in need of, not just in this valley, but everywhere. Water is a situation that we have to look for the ability to get access to greater water than we have here. We are in an emergency situation with water, and we need to get a plan together, and what that looks like is, again, unifying with our county and our other communities here in interconnection of water systems, and looking for the ability to bring water here from outside of this valley to serve the purposes that we need.
Thank you so much. Let me just check this. Sorry. Oh man. Okay. Why do you think you're the best person for this job?
I believe that I'm the best person for this job for a number of reasons, but really for two reasons. I have already been on the city council for 8 years. I have, in that period of time on the city council, we had serious issues in the city that needed to be addressed, and we addressed them. We laid the foundations for a lot of the success that you see today in Tooele, Founders Point, other commercial development. And then while I was on the council, we solved a long-standing lawsuit that was going on that was actually holding us back in this community on progress. And we solved that, and as a result of that, development and building here exploded. The second reason, and I think the most important reason, I've been a 30-year business owner of a medical management corporation that has a national footprint. That corporation has given me a business background and expertise to be able to use those assets that you have in business to help assist in connection with your public service, to guide the city in a right way. The mayor of Tooele is the CEO of Tooele. We don't have a city manager. The mayor is the CEO. That is the business executive of the city. It's important that we have that expertise guiding this city and that background, and I think that's what makes me the most qualified.
Thank you so much for that. We've covered infrastructure, growth, traffic. Are there anything in any of these topics that you want to go a little deeper on?
I'd like to talk about jobs. 70%, more than 70% of our workforce in Tooele leaves Tooele and goes to Salt Lake to work. That's what causes that congestion on our traffic system. 70% goes to Salt Lake. We need more jobs here so people can stay here and work here and provide for their families here and not have to commute to Salt Lake to work. And that way not only does that help families here, it also helps with the way taxes are spent and the way people live here in our community. They live here, they work here, and they can grow up here without leaving.
What do you think is the top concern for the residents of Tooele?
The top concern for the residents of Tooele right now is growth and what that growth is doing to us. Tooele, and I have to tell you, I growing up here, I remember when the first traffic light went in on Main and Vine in Tooele, and we had 8,000 people. And Tooele has changed greatly. That growth has caused all of these other issues that we have talked about. Our greatest concern is the growth that's happening here and how we as elected officials handle and manage that growth, and how we initiate the plans that we've talked about in transportation and water and things to help with that growth. But I think that the population increase is I think our biggest concern.
Is there anything unique in your background that you think makes you more qualified than your opponent for this position?
I have served Tooele City my whole life. I have, and when I say that, even at a young age, with a young family, I served Tooele here. I have worked in our city government. I've been there. I know how our city operates. In my family growing up, my mother was the treasurer for Tooele City for 30 years. So family business was part of our family, or community city business was part of our family. So I think I have a background that's more extensive, that is more well-rounded, and has all of the assets that is needed to serve as the most qualified mayor for Tooele City.